So taking a look at our third page here, I should say, we have equations, 3 points, A, B, and C. We want to find the system of inequalities. So we're going to start with line AB here. So we'll start with the blue line. So really what I want to do, keep in mind, there's 3 things I need to do to find the inequality. Number 1, okay, I need to find the slope. 2, I need to know what the y-intercept is, okay? So I want to know what B is for number 2. And then for number 3, okay, I want to know which way to shade. All right, and the shading is how do I want to cover the triangle? How do I shade it so I go over the triangle? Okay, so for instance, if I have this blue line here, I'm going to want to shade up so I can cover the triangle. Okay, if I'm taking a look at line AC, which is the red line, we extend this, right? I'm going to shade down to cover the triangle. If I have line BC, which is in this direction, okay, you get the idea. I'm going to shade up to cover the triangle. Okay, so that's when we talk about shading. What direction are we shading in? So let's start with AB. Those are the first 2 letters. Okay, so the first thing I need to know is the slope. So I can count that. I'm going to go down 1 and over 2 to the right. Down 1, so that's -1, and then 2 to the right is a +2. Okay, and then if I continue that trend, down 1, right 2. Okay, let's take a blue here. All right, I'm going to put it right there. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Or up 1, left 2. And then there's my line. Now you can see that this line doesn't hit the y-axis right at a perfect number, but it is going to be in between these 2 dots, so it's really at a half. Okay, so we luck out with that one. So I'm going to take my line, we'll go from the y-intercept out. That way, down here. All right, and there's my first inequality essentially, and I'm going to shade in this direction. Yeah, can't talk right now. Okay, so that's up. So first thing we know, the slope is down 1, left 2. So the slope is -1, right 2, so -1/2. The y-intercept, right, is -1/2 or 0.5, and we're shading up. Okay, so that's y greater than or equal to -1/2, and then minus, oh, don't forget the x, and then minus 1/2, 0.5. There's our first inequality, so we'll label it down here. Y greater than or equal to -1/2 x minus 0.5. Okay, second inequality. We're going to do BC here. We'll do the purple line. Okay, so same thing. So I can count my slope. I'm going to go essentially over 1. Stop it. Over 1 to the right, right, up 4. So it's +4, going up 4. The terrible 4. And then over 1. Okay, so my slope for the second one, all right, is going to be up 4 and over 1, or 4. We got to find the y-intercept. So now, if I keep going with that slope, over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, will put me right there. If I go over 1, right, I'm going to go up 4. Now this is, right now, we can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9. So we're going to go 10, 11, 12, 13. So this point right there is going to be the point 0, 13. So that means my y-intercept is 13. All right, remember we talked about before, when I draw the line in, now I can also move down 4 and left 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1. 3, 4, left 1. Okay, and it's going to put us right in line to there. So, all right, so we take this guy. All right. And we're shading up to cover the triangle. So that's a greater than or equal to, remember our slope, 4x, and our y-intercept is positive 13, so plus 13. So that's our second inequality. Y greater than or equal to 4x plus 13. Okay, last inequality, red on this guy. So we can count our slope. So it's essentially up 3 and then over 3 to the right. We have 3 over 3, but it can actually count. It's 1 over 1, guys, right? So the slope, okay, is 3 over 3, which is really just 1. And the y-intercept, so we're going to count it. So if we go up 1 over 1, it'll put us right in there. We now also go down 1 over 1 here. And then we can draw our line in. All right. So there we go. All right. And this is y. And here we're going to shade down, right, to cover the triangle. So this is less than or equal to. So our slope is 1x or x. And our y-intercept, we can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x plus 7. All right. So y is less than or equal to x plus 7. Okay. So there's our 3 inequalities. So that's what we're doing. What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? So continue the line of the slope up the line there to figure out where it crosses the y-axis. And then which way would you shade? Okay. All right, dilated scale factor of 2 by the origin. What will the new system of inequalities represent? So if we're going from the origin, scale factor of 2, the new y-intercept, okay, is going to be b, let's try that again, b times whatever the scale factor is. All right, so it's really y equals the same mx, and then our new y-intercept is b times that scale factor. That's what we need to figure out. So for the first inequality, it's -1/2. We double it, it's going to be at 1. So it's y, keep the same slope, so -1/2, okay, x, and then it's -1 when we double it. All right. The second inequality, y, keep the same slope, same inequality, so greater than or equal to 4x, and this time it's going to be plus 26. And the last one, same slope, so it's y, it's less than or equal to again. It's still going to say x. This time it's going to double to 14. Okay, find the perimeter. So we really are going to find essentially, right, these right triangles we've created here. So we have these right triangles, like this one, right? We'll call that triangle 1. We'll call that triangle 2. What that was. Okay, and then we have triangle 3. So we'll start with triangle 1. What we're going to do is use Pythagorean Theorem on these 3 right triangles, and we're going to kick out whatever that distance is right there. So we already know that it's 2 and 1, right, for the perimeter. So we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm not going to write that every time. Okay, so we have essentially -1, or just 1 squared, plus 2 squared is equal to c squared. This is 5. So the square root of 5 is equal to c. Okay. Second triangle, we're going to go up 3 and over 3. So 3 squared plus 3 squared is equal to c squared. This is 9 plus 9, which is 18. And if we were to simplify, this would turn into 3, 3, and 2. And so we would take out our set of 3's, and this would be 3 radical 2. If we had to simplify, that's what it would be. If it didn't say, I would leave it as a square root of 18, because that's the easiest. And the last one is just 4, and then 1. So 4 squared plus 1 squared is equal to c squared. This is 17, and that's the square root of 17. So the perimeter, in simplest radical form, we have a radical 5, we have 3 radical 2, or radical 18, and we have radical 17. And it doesn't say what to round to, so we should not be just rounding to the nearest tenth because that's what we feel like doing. Okay, so if we type all that in, we get 10.601814229. All right, and if we double that, dilation of 2, that just doubles the perimeter. Okay, so the perimeter, ET, is just times 2. So our new perimeter is going to be, right, 2 radical 5 plus 6 radical 2 plus 2 radical 17, which is just that thing distributing a 2 through, which is, when you double it, you're going to end up with 21.203.62858, and that's units. It's just straight up units. Okay? Find the area. So we already know our triangles have lengths of 1 and 2, 3 and 3, 1 and 4. So we just have to do, remember the box method. Find the area of the box, right, which is 3 times 4, which is 12, and I take the area of my triangles. So triangle 1 had lengths of 1 and 2, so it's 1/2 times 1 times 2, which is 1. The area of triangle 2 had areas of 3 and 3, which is 4.5. And then the area of triangle 3 was 1 and 4, which is 2. So the total area, all right, is essentially 12 minus the sum of 4.5, 1, and 2. And this is 7.5. So really 12 minus 7.5, and that's 4.5. That's our total area. Now the area, so all of this, I just realized I wrote all that in the wrong space. So then we can move that down. Maybe. All right, we're gonna wait a little while. But anyways, so if we dilate it by 2, now remember, if the ratio of the sides is 1 to 2, the ratio of the areas is more than that, okay? It's not 1 to 2, not just 1 to 2. So keep that in mind, okay? Let's move that down. Can we get this? We're gonna get, oh, look at this. Awesome. Well, the easiest thing to do, I think, yeah, is to duplicate it. Look at this. Move it all down, and then erase what we don't need. I'm only doing this because I'm going to send it to you guys in answer format in a minute. So. All right. So I don't need this. All right. I don't need that. Probably could have done this afterwards. That's all right. All right. Okay, and then let's move all this up. All right, and then if we do the area with a dilation of 2, so remember that the sides, the ratio of the sides squared is equal to the ratio of the areas. So if the sides is 1 to 2, then that's going to equal 1 to 4 for the ratio of the areas. So essentially it's a multiplication factor of 4. So 1 over 4 is equal to 4.5 over, I don't know. And then when you cross multiply, you're going to get 18. So the area of triangle ABC after a dilation of 2 is 18. All right. And the last one is take this line. Hold on real quick. I gotta drop some dinner for the cat. Okay, so we graph the line. Michael's 1/2 x plus 4, that's on the graph. Now we're going to do a dilation by a scale factor of 3, center at the origin. So we already know all we're going to do is take this point right here, where the y-intercept is. We're going to count that distance, and we're going to do 3 of those. So if it's at 4, the next one's going to go up to 8, and the last one's going to go up to 12. So the y-intercept is just multiplied by 3. So our new equation is y equals, same slope, 1/2 x, and the center does not go through the line, so we know it's going to change, and now our new y-intercept is 4. Okay, second one. We have a center at the point 4, 6. So let's graph that. So 4, 6 is right there. This center is on the line, okay? So if the center is on the line, all right, the equation stays the same. That's it. So the line is still, for our final answer, y equals 1/2 x plus 4. It doesn't change. All right, the last one is at the point, we'll do it again, -4, 0. So it's right here. Okay, and we're going to do a scale factor of 3. So what I need to do is move this point, or any other point, I'm going to dilate it. So let's take this one. If I do a scale factor of 3, I'm going to go up 2. Okay, so that's 1, right? So that's 2. I'm going to do that. That's a scale factor of 1. That's a scale factor of 2. And there's a scale factor of 3. So that point is going to end up right there. And then I can do that to another point. Okay, so if I go over, let's change that right there. So over 2, up 3, over 2, up 3, and then repeat the pattern. Over 2, and I'm going to go up 3. So I'm at 6, so it's eventually going to go over, and this graph should be bigger. It is going to go over to 9. So this is going to be the point 2, and it goes all the way up to 9. And I know that because that's 6, and I'm going up press 3. So, all right, just 2, 9. So if I were to draw, now, let's say for instance I'm off the line. That's a great one to use. I don't know how to find the equation, but I know that this point exists on the line. Right there, that point's on my line. And this is the point -4, 6. I can just use that point and use what we already know about finding the equations of the line to get it. Okay, so I can take y equals mx plus b. I already know my slope, right, is 1/2. And now I know that the point on my line, right, my xy, is -4, 6. That's my x, that's my y. So I can just plug in. So 6 is equal to 1/2 times -4 plus b. So 6 is equal to -2 plus b. And then I can add 2 to both sides, and I'll get 8 is equal to b. So now I know, right, after we moved, we know that since at 9, that when I continue my slope up here, okay, my lines go parallel, it's going to cross through the point 0, 8 on the y-axis. And so my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 8. I'll make sure if I give you one on the quiz that it's you can graph everything. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.